Today I'm going to be seeing if I can rebuild the Washington football team or the Washington Commanders with quarterback Sam Howell. We are starting out with a 68 overall Sam Howell. I have made him a star dev trait just because he is like the star of this video, so I didn't want to start with a normal dev trait. Here's the offense we will start this with. Obviously, you have guys like Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin, but we also have Curtis Samuel and first-round pick Jahan Dotson playing the slot. I'm going to be keeping it a 4-3 this time because guys like Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Montez Sweat, I want all of them on the field at the same time. But with the rest of the starting defense here, linebacker is obviously a bit of a concern. We do have Jamin Davis, who will at least be a star dev trait. And then we have Cameron Curl, who is a star dev trait and a scheme fit. And our defensive backs aren't bad. We probably need to add a third, slot DB in the offseason. But the two outside ones are not bad. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump to mid-season and see how this team does in Season 1. So at the midway point, we are 2-5. I did not expect to be a good team this year, but let's go see how Sam Howell is doing stat-wise. He has 2,100 yards, 10 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, so not a terrific rookie year, but I feel like it's not off to a bad start. On the ground, Antonio Gibson has 3 rushing touchdowns, and through the air, Jahan Dotson leading the team in catches with 44 and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel has 3, and Logan Thomas has 3. Jamin Davis is leading the team in tackles by a lot. He has 62. The next place is Kendall Fuller with 38. How are we doing in sacks? Chase Young has 4, and interceptions, Jamin Davis has 1, and William Jackson III has 1. Right now, we are the 5th ranked offense and the 30th ranked defense. That is a massive gap there. In points per game on offense, we are 25 though, and defensive points per game, we're 28. But now let's jump to the end of the season, see if we can turn this around, somehow make the playoffs, and if not, let's get ready for the offseason. We finished the season 5-12 and last in the division. The Cowboys and the Eagles both finished 12-5. Here's what the playoff brackets look like. It looks like the Browns have had a decent turnaround with Deshaun Watson at quarterback as they have made the playoffs as the 1 seed. And Sam Howell finishes the year with 5,000 passing yards. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a rookie record. 27 touchdowns and 12 interceptions on the ground. Antonio Gibson, 800 yards, almost 911 touchdowns. And Jahan Dotson with 92 catches and 3 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel had 7 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin had 6, and Logan Thomas had 7. Jamin Davis ended up leading the team in tackles with 143. What about sacks? That goes to Chase Young with 9, and interceptions. William Jackson got 3, Jamin Davis got 1, Bobby McCain got 1, and Kendall Fuller got 1. Around the league, Tom Brady leads the league in passing yards with almost 5,500. They had 41 touchdowns to 15 picks. But Mahomes leads the league in touchdowns with 44, and who led it in picks? Jameis Winston with 17, and Matt Ryan threw 17. Nick Chubb with almost 1,900 yards and 18 touchdowns, but leading the league in rushing touchdowns is Kareem Hunt. Mike Evans leads the league in receptions with 120. It looks like 2 other players got 100 catches, Michael Thomas and Randall Cobb. What about yards? That goes to Michael Thomas, and touchdowns goes to Marquez Valdez-Scantling with 14. Jamin Davis actually leads the league in tackles with 143, so obviously that's very good for us. Ndamukong Suh got 17.5 sacks in Arizona, and interceptions, Xavier Howard and Patrick Queen both got 6. And the only award we win this season is Sam Howell will take home the NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the Super Bowl will be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. And Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs take down Kyler Murray and the Cardinals 34-20. There are not too many contract offers up here, and we're only going to bring back a couple players, Percy Butler and Chris Paul. And really, the only reason I'm bringing them back is they both look auto-generated, which means they were both part of Washington's last draft class, so we'll bring them back. Here in the first free agency, I'm not offering a ton of contracts. We're going to try to get Ndamukong Suh to back up Chase Young. He just led the league in sacks, but he probably still took a pretty good ratings hit. Jordan Lewis to come in and be our slot DB like I was talking about, and then Trey Hopkins to be a backup center. And then jumping to the second stage, we managed to land all 3 players, Ndamukong Suh, Jordan Lewis, and Trey Hopkins have all signed. And now in the second stage of free agency, I'm going to offer Jalen Smith and this outside linebacker that I don't even want to try to pronounce his name. And we managed to land both of those players, so this is our free agent class this year. There was not a lot of big names. Guys like Gronk were here, but they wanted a ton of money and like a 3-year contract, even though he's 33 years old, and I wasn't willing to do that. And disconnection number 1, because this is still in the game, even though this game is almost at the end of its life cycle, and the glitch has been here the entire time. And we'll just go over a couple of the big names here that have signed. Gronk is a Jet, Odell is headed to Chicago, and then Jason Verrett is a Patriot, and that's really all the high-level free agents that I saw. But let's figure out who the Lions are going to take with the first pick in the draft. They will select wide receiver Brandon Cox out of USC. What about the Jets? Who are they going to take? They take Marcus Phillips, a wide receiver out of California. All right, who are the Giants taking? Reed Rogers, a quarterback out of Colorado. And then the Eagles with the 4th overall pick will take DJ Worth, quarterback out of Utah. And with the 5th pick here in the first round, I'm looking at right outside linebacker Bernie Springs. Obviously, like I said, linebacker was a position of need. He's coming out of Mississippi State, and we know he has B awareness, B block shedding, B play rec, B finesse moves, and B hit power. We're going to go ahead and take Bernie Springs, a normal depth trait, not what you want in the top 5, but hopefully he develops pretty well. And with the 5th pick here in the second round, I'm going to take free safety Dylan Hobbs out of Virginia, and he is also a normal depth trait. And with the last pick, I will make, if you've never watched any of my rebuilds, I only do the first 3 rounds, and then I let the CPU draft the rest. But we're going to take outside linebacker Gordon Harris out of Northern Illinois, another normal depth trait, so we do not land a hidden depth trait in the first 3 rounds. That kind of sucks. Alright, so this draft class was not very great, but we do get a 74 overall right outside linebacker in the first round. Pretty good for us, but no hidden depth trait. A 65 overall, a 64 overall, and the CPU didn't really do a whole lot better. They did get a 69 overall defensive tackle in the 4th round, though. The best player in the draft was an 80 overall middle linebacker that Detroit took at the 10th pick. That is a very, very good pick for them, obviously. And it does hurt a little bit that I passed on Jelani Williamson. I could have taken him. He is a 77 overall. Let me guess, hidden depth trait? No, he is still a normal depth trait. Sam Howell did improve quite a bit after the first season. He went from a 68 overall to a 75 overall. And here's the rest of the starting offense. Antonio Gibson now an 84, Terry McLaurin's a 94, Jahan Dotson's an 80 overall, and Curtis Samuel is now an 82. So Sam Howell has weapons on this team. And for the defensive starters, the D-line does not really change at all. Ndamukong Suh is new, but he is a backup. We added Jordan Lewis to be our slot corner. I believe we're going to have an injury at free safety because there's no way Butler is our best player there. We have our new right outside linebacker starting, Jamin Davis, obviously, and Holcomb still starting on the left side, and then Cameron Curl at safety. We actually do not have an injury at free safety, so our free safety is actually just that bad. Okay, I may have to make a signing in free agency. And I brought in free agent DeMonte Casey to be our 1-year starter, and then we'll look in the draft for a better player. Butler could have developed into a decent player, but I don't really want to roll a whole season with a 69 overall starting free safety who is only a normal depth trait. But now all that's out of the way, so let's go ahead and jump to midseason and see how this team has improved. And we've gotten a little bit better. We are now 4-3, and we are leading the division currently. And at this point, Sam Howell has 1,800 yards, 14 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. On the ground, Gibson already has 7 rushing touchdowns, and through the air, Logan Thomas is leading the team in catches and has 4 touchdowns. McLaurin also has 4, Curtis Samuel has 3, and Jahan Dotson only has 1. Jamin Davis once again leading the team in tackles with 61. What about sacks? That goes to Montez Sweat and Chase Young, both with 5, and interceptions. Fuller has 2, Davis has 1, and Jordan Lewis has 1. And right now we are the 13th ranked offense and the 27th ranked defense. That is not great. In points per game on offense though, we are 7th, and in defensive points per game we're 19th. But now let's jump to the end of the season, see if we can keep the division lead and get into the playoffs. Okay, we completely fall apart. We finished the season 8-9, last in the division, and completely missed the playoffs. What the hell happened? Well, Sam Howell did finish the season strong, 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, but 20 interceptions. On the ground, Gibson runs for another 11 touchdowns. I think that's what he ran for last year. Receiving, we had 4 1,000-yard receivers. I believe that would be an NFL record. Jahan Dotson with 79 catches and 8 touchdowns. Logan Thomas with 103 catches. Terry McLaurin 8 touchdowns, and Curtis Samuel 8 touchdowns. Davis with 128 tackles leads the team. He also had 3 sacks, but Chase Young leads the team there with 13. Montez Sweat had 12, and interceptions. Kendall Fuller got 3, Jordan Lewis got 2, Jamin Davis got 1, and DeMonte Casey got 1. Patrick Mahomes leads the league in passing yards with 5,300. What about touchdowns? That goes to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, who both threw 45. And leading the league in picks was Patrick Mahomes with 22. Nick Chubb, I believe, once again leads the league in rushing yards. I think he did it last season. This time he had almost 2,000 yards, and he leads the league in touchdowns with 20. There were a lot of people that caught 100 passes this year. Michael Thomas, Alan Lazard, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Logan Thomas, and Justin Jefferson all had 100 catches. I believe Michael Thomas, led the league with receptions with 117. In yards goes to Michael Thomas, and touchdowns goes to Juju Smith-Schuster, who caught 16 of them. Miles Jack leads the league in tackles this year with 143. What about sacks? That goes to Yannick Ngakoue with 19.5. And interceptions, Witherspoon with 7. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your first name. So for the rankings, we finished as the 19th highest scoring offense with 25.7 points per game, but on defense, we were letting up 28 points a game. Something's got to change there. But here's the playoff bracket for this year. It looks like Baker Mayfield has possibly led the Panthers to a 1 seed over in the NFC side, and we'll see how these playoffs play out. And the Super Bowl will be between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Baltimore Ravens. And the Baltimore Ravens absolutely smoked the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl 56-28. And most likely we're going to have to make some cap moves because I had to re-sign Terry McLaurin, Deron Payne, Cole Holcomb, and Sam Howell, and we are left with about $3 million in cap space. And in the first move, I'm going to ship Curtis Samuel to the Browns for a second-round pick. So with the roster that I use for these roster updates, I don't know if the Ravens just have like no cap space, but they never re-signed Lamar if you've watched the last few that I've done. And he has now hit the free agent market as a 99 overall, and that is absolutely insane. I do not have a ton of cap space this offseason, so I'm only offering wide receiver Sky Moore and free safety DeMonte Casey because those are two positions of need, especially since we just traded Curtis Samuel. And those are the only players I even tried to get in free agency, but I do land Sky Moore and DeMonte Casey. Let's look at league signings. Nick Bosa is headed to Minnesota. Aaron Rodgers is headed to the Texans. Lamar Jackson wasn't signed? Well, that is interesting. But this time we have the 12th pick in the draft, but let's see where the Steelers go with their pick. With the first overall pick, the Steelers take defensive back Derek Ogletree. And now with the 12th pick in the draft, I'm looking at left end Jamal Hardison, and the main reason behind that is because we are probably going to lose Montez Sweat. This is the last year of his contract, and we're pretty much in cap hell right now, so let's go ahead and try to get his replacement now. And with the 12th pick here in the second round, I'm going to take left outside linebacker Andrew Callaway. And we finally managed to land a hidden dev trait player. And I may be taking this player a little early. He's projected to go to round 3 to 4. We are at pick 26 in the second round because we had 2 second round picks. But we're going to take right tackle Trent Kelly, who is another hidden dev trait. I do not know what this tight end's blocking stats are, but tight end is apparently the top need. It is rated as an F on our team. So we're going to take Ruben House out of Florida State. What we know about him is he has B medium route, B deep route, C injury, F stiff arm. We don't know a lot about him, but we're going to go ahead and take him. So I feel like this draft class was a lot better than last one. Jamal Hardison's a 74 overall, obviously a hidden dev trait, was not too thrilled about that. But Andrew Callaway, our outside linebacker we took in the second, is a hidden dev trait, and our right tackle that we took in the late second is a hidden dev trait at 71. A 65 overall tight end, a 69 overall defensive back, a 66 overall halfback, a 65 overall outside linebacker, and a 67 overall wide receiver. The best player in the draft was the player that went number 1 overall, Derek Ogletree, an 81 overall corner. And I believe last season he started as a 75 overall. This time Sam Howell is a 78, so we're going to look to try to break into the 80s at least this season. But here's the rest of the starting offense as of right now. It looks like our brand new right tackle is actually injured, so he will not get to start right away. But over on defense, we now have 2 X factors on the defensive line, and Callaway is a hidden dev trait. He will start over Holcomb, even though we just paid Holcomb. We'll figure out what his dev trait is, and then we'll figure out what to do with Holcomb or Callaway. Now that we've seen the starting team, let's go ahead and jump to midseason and see where we are. Okay, a definite improvement as we jump into week 8 at 7-0. Sam Howell is having one hell of a year, 2,100 yards, 18 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions, a big improvement after last season he threw 20. On the ground, Brian Robinson's actually getting a majority of the carries. I guess Antonio Gibson got injured for a minute, but Robinson has 5 touchdowns. And through the air, Terry McLaurin has 3 touchdowns, Sky Moore has 3 touchdowns, Logan Thomas has 5, and Jahan Dotson has 4. On defense, Jamin Davis is leading the team in tackles as we become used to. In sacks, that is Chase Young with 6.5, and interceptions goes to Kendall Fuller with 2. On offense, we are ranked number 4 in the league, and on defense, we are 32? How are we 7-0 with the 32nd ranked defense? What are we in points per game? On offense, we are 6th in points per game. On defense, we are 2nd. Okay, so it looks like just the yards. We let up a ton of yards, but apparently not a ton of points. But now let's jump to the end of the season, see if we completely fall apart again or if we can manage to make the playoffs. I don't know what it is about the back half of the season, but we cannot finish strong. We finished 12-5. We don't even win the division, so we have to go on the road to Lambeau in the first round of the playoffs. And Sam Howell once again finishes with over 5,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. On the ground, Robinson ends with 7 touchdowns. And through the air, Sky Moore, 91 catches for 6 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, 73 for 6. Logan Thomas caught 91 passes for 9 touchdowns. And Jahan Dotson caught 65 for 8. Jamin Davis once again leading the team in tackles, just like every year so far, with 110, and in sacks, Chase Young got 15.5, Jonathan Allen got 10, and in interceptions, Kendall Fuller got 4, William Jackson got 2, and Jordan Lewis got 2. Mahomes leads the league in yards with 5,148 touchdown passes, which obviously leads the league, and interceptions, Drew Lock threw 25. Not near as bad as Mac Jones, though, only throwing 11 touchdowns to 24 interceptions. And for the third year in a row, Nick Chubb leads the league in rushing yards, this time for over 2,000 yards. What about touchdowns? That goes to Nick Chubb and Leonard Fournette, both with 21. Brandon Cooks leads the league in receptions with 114. In yards, that goes to Justin Jefferson, and in touchdowns, it goes to Travis Kelce. That is 3 years in a row a Chiefs player has led the league in receiving touchdowns, and it's been a different player each time. Eric Kendricks leads the league in tackles with 144, sacks goes to George Karlaftis with 21.5, and interceptions as Desmond King and Tremaine Edmonds with 6. But here is the playoff bracket. The NFC East sent 3 teams to the playoffs. Well, let's figure out if we can win in the wildcard round to get our first playoff win of the series. And we do get our first win, 30-27 over the Packers. And it looks like Jordan Love has taken over the Packers. He throws for almost 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell throws for 3 touchdowns and a pick. How do we do on the ground? No one really did anything for us. And through the air, Dean Rose caught 10 passes for 192 yards and a touchdown. Okay, they have a pretty good receiver in Green Bay. Terry McLaurin, 8 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. But here's how the rest of the first round played out. As you guys can see, we will take on the 6th-seeded Saints. And sadly, Season 3 would end in the divisional round 26-21. Let's see how we played. Jameis Winston throws 3 touchdowns. Sam Howell only throws 1. But I'm glad we finally made the playoffs and we managed to get a win. But here's how the rest of the playoffs have played out. It looks like the NFC Championship game will be between the Panthers and the Saints, and the Titans and the Chargers will be on the AFC side. And the Super Bowl will be between the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Chargers. And Jameis Winston has led the Saints to a Super Bowl, beating the Chargers 27-17. So the team is going to look pretty different next year. We're bringing back Kendall Fuller, but I'm letting Antonio Gibson and Montez Sweat both walk. Sweat does not want as much money as I thought he was going to ask for, but it's still a little more than I want to pay. And then Andrew Norrell, we're going to let leave because he's 32. We brought back Cameron Curl. We're going to let William Jackson leave because he's 31 and 80 overall. We're going to see if we can get another corner. Jahan Dotson is coming back. Trey Turner is walking. Jalen Smith, and I don't think I brought back anyone else here. I did bring back Percy Butler, actually, but no one else is coming back. Alright, so I've thrown out a few offers here. We're going to try to bring back William Jackson, but on a much cheaper deal than he originally wanted. Laken Tomlinson, Kenneth Walker as a starting running back, Zach Ertz, Mark Glowinski, and Eric Wilson to be a backup middle linebacker. Well, I at least got Laken Tomlinson and Mark Glowinski to sign, so we at least have some guards that won't get our quarterback murdered. And with the current negotiations, I upped a couple other contracts to give them a little more incentive to sign and not just go into free agency forever. But I have upped Kenneth Walker's offer because the Falcons jumped in on that one. And we've added Zach Ertz and Kenneth Walker to our team. Now I just need to see what's going on with Jackson and Wilson, and no one else is even bidding on them, so hopefully they sign this week. And William Jackson and Eric Wilson both finally signed their contracts, so we land everyone I wanted in free agency. Let's take a look where the top names went. Tyrann Mathieu is headed to Denver. Teron Armstead is a Saint. Khalil Mack is headed to the Lions. DeMarcus Lawrence, I looked at signing him, but he wanted a ton of money. He's headed to Jacksonville, and Antonio Gibson is headed to the Texans. And before we jump into the draft, let's take a look at how the team is progressing. It looks like Sam Howell is now a superstar depth trait and an 85 overall, so he takes a pretty big jump. We finally have a really solid quarterback now. McLaurin is a 99 overall X Factor. Looks like our rookie right tackle is a star depth trait, so we've done pretty well so far. And we did even better on the defensive side of the ball because Callaway is an X Factor. He was our 2nd round pick, I believe, last year, and he comes in as a superstar X Factor depth trait already. That is huge. All right, let's see where the Patriots go with the first pick in this draft. The New England Patriots take a left tackle out of UCLA, and we have pick 28. And I'm thinking with our first round pick here, I'm going to take left guard Dave Meeks out of Ohio State. We don't know a ton about him, but we do know he has B pass block finesse, A run block finesse, C run block power, A injury, and where did he rank in strength? Well, he was 11th at the combine and 3rd at his pro day. We will take left guard Dave Meeks, who has a hidden dev trait. And with pick 28 here in the second round, I'm looking at Cameron Pettis out of Stanford. What we know about him is he has a C for zone coverage, a B play rec, an A catching, and an A block shedding. We're going to go ahead and take Cameron Pettis, who also has a hidden dev trait. And with the last pick in the draft that I will make here at pick 28 in the third round, I'm looking at defensive end Daniel Burke out of Rice. He has B awareness, B player. We actually have him 100% scouted. He does have C tackle, but I think everything else makes up for it, so we will take Daniel Burke, who does not have a hidden depth trait. Let's take a look at our draft recap. We got a 71 overall left guard that I will probably play at right guard, a 71 overall free safety, and a 70 overall defensive end. And then the CPU didn't draft great, but it did land a 68 overall receiver in the 6th round. The highest rated player in the draft was an 82 overall corner that Jacksonville took with the 3rd pick in the draft. That is one of the highest overalls I think I've seen in this game. He has 95 speed and 81 man. That is one hell of a pick. So I guess he had a couple boosts going on that I just didn't notice, but he is now an 83 overall superstar depth trait, so we still have a pretty solid quarterback. Despite losing some players in free agency, I still feel like we built a pretty solid team here. Kenneth Walker is now our starting running back. He replaces Antonio Gibson. Terry McLaurin, still a 99 overall X Factor now. We also have an 85 overall Jahan Dotson and an 80 overall Sky Moore. And I made Meeks the starting right guard, so we will get to see if he is a star depth trait or a superstar. Most likely a star, but a superstar depth trait would be nice. Here on defense, we now have 3 X Factors thanks to Callaway being an X Factor, which is just an amazing pick on our part. And I'm starting Pettis at free safety so we can see if he is a star, superstar, or possibly another X Factor. I doubt it's another X Factor, but that would be amazing. At the midway point last season, we were 7-0. Can we replicate that? No, we cannot. We start the season 3-4. What the hell happened in this team? Hopefully losing Montez Sweat did not affect us that much, but we have had some good starts and then bad finishes. Maybe we're flipping it this time? Sam Howell has not started as strong as he did last season. 1,900 yards, 11 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. On the ground, Kenneth Walker has 7 touchdowns, Robinson has 4. And through the air, Logan Thomas has a touchdown, Sky Moore has 2, and Terry McLaurin has 5. On defense, as we've come to expect, Jamin Davis is leading the team in tackles with 51. In sacks, that goes to Jonathan Allen with 5.5. And interceptions, Jamin Davis has 3. Let's see where we are in rankings. We are 17th in offensive rank, and we are 24th in defensive rank. I really don't know how with an 88 overall defense we are this bad. But offensive points per game, we are 21st in the league, and in defensive points per game, we are 12th. And now we will jump to the end of the season to see if we can sneak into the playoffs, because the Giants are 6-0 and the Cowboys are 6-1. So I think if we're going to get in, it's going to be a wild card spot. We finished the season 10-7 and we sneak into the playoffs. Let's see, are we the 6 or the 7 seed here? We come in as the 6 seed and we have to go back to Lambeau just like we did last year. At the end of the year, we finished as the 15th ranked offense and the 7th ranked defense. Okay, so we turned it around. Points per game, we finished 13th on offense and 5th in defense. For the first time in his career in this video, Howell does not throw for 5,000 yards. He throws 29 touchdowns and 11 picks, so a bit of a step back from last year. On the ground, Kenneth Walker ran in for 18 touchdowns. Okay, that signing seems to be pretty good so far. Logan Thomas, 92 catches for 8 touchdowns. Sky Moore caught 4 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin caught 7. We had 3 people almost get 1,000 yards. The only one to go across 1,000 was Logan Thomas. And Jamin Davis leads the team in tackles yet again with 116. In sacks, that goes to Chase Young, who had 17. And interceptions, Jamin Davis got 5. So this year, no one throws for 5,000 yards. Mahomes leads the league with a little over 4,900. In touchdowns, it goes to Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow, who threw 41 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. Who led the league in picks? Jameis Winston with 24. And for the first time in this video, Nick Chubb does not lead the league in rushing. That goes to Jonathan Taylor with 1,700 yards, and he also led the league in touchdowns with 22. Brandon Cooks leads the league in receptions, I think for the second time in this video. What about yards? That goes to Russell Gage, who caught 1,400 yards. And then in touchdowns, it goes to Corey Gary with 16 from Cincinnati. Patrick Queen leads the league in tackles with 142. In sacks, George Karlaftis got 28, which I'm pretty sure is the record. And in interceptions, 4 people got 6. Caleb Fairley, Emmanuel Mosley, Kenny Moore, and Logan Wilson. But now let's see if we can go to Lambeau for the second year in a row and take out the Green Bay Packers. It does not go our way this year as we lose 24-8 and we don't even score until the 4th quarter. It does not look like Howell played very well. He went 11 of 24 for 191 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. We've got to play better than that if we want to win a Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl will be between the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets. Let's go see if Zach Wilson is still leading the Jets. He is not. They're now being led by star quarterback Lamar Jackson. I guess that is where he signed whenever he signed with nobody in free agency. And it looks like it paid off for him because the New York Jets have beat the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl 42-28. So there's a bit to go over in re-signing here. Chase Young's contract finally came up. We had to pay him a lot of money. And then we have a few older players I'm letting leave, like Laken Tomlinson. We may try to bring him back in free agency. We did re-sign our center, and I tried to bring back Trust Way. He did not want to come back, so he's going to hit free agency, so we'll have to sign a punter. Not a big deal. William Jackson regresses all the way to a 75 overall, so we're going to let him hit free agency. I brought back Brian Robinson, and then let's see if any of these other guys I re-signed. I did bring back Benjamin St. Just, I hope I'm saying his name right, a 75 overall scheme fit. He apparently caught a couple picks last year, so he was fine. And I don't think I brought back anyone else, but we will need a new tight end, as Logan Thomas is now a 68 overall at 34 years old. And my other tight end was Zach Ertz, who was also 34 years old and 68 overall. So yeah, we're going to be signing a new tight end. So a lot of players left, so I've had to offer a few contracts. Dion Dawkins, I'm trying to bring in to be our starting left tackle. Byron Jones to be a second corner, maybe a slot corner. Jonnu Smith to be our starting tight end. Will Hernandez to be our only right guard, apparently. Titus Howard to be our backup right tackle. David Long to be our backup middle linebacker. Carlos Basham to be our backup defensive end. Connor McGovern to be our backup left guard. And Elijah Wilkinson to be our backup center. And it looks like we managed to land Jonnu Smith, Will Hernandez, Titus Howard, David Long, and Elijah Wilkinson. And in negotiations, we are going to be in a bidding war for Dion Dawkins, and we offered 106 points, and the Bills are outbidding us by a ton. We are in 5th place. Byron Jones, we're probably going to withdraw from that one. Basham is still good, and we're going to have to probably up our offer for Connor McGovern or find a different left guard. So I've changed around some offers. I did not want to overpay Dawkins because he was 31 years old, and they were offering him a ton of money. So we're going to go for Garrett Bowles, and then we've got Jadeveon Clowney, Mark Glowinski, and Sergio Gallery. I took off Basham because Clowney was in free agency, and I think he's probably going to be a better option for us to play at defensive end. And we get Jadeveon Clowney. Who else did we manage to sign? We got Mark Glowinski, Sergio Gallery, and I think the only person that's missing is the left tackle. And here I've got this up to a 108-point offer, but you can see how far Denver is still ahead of us, so I'm just going to pull out of this deal too. We'll have to figure out something to do at left tackle. For now, I will offer Taylor Lewan, and he will be our starting left tackle as of right now, and I am sorry, Sam Howell, that you are probably going to get murdered. And we're now here at the 4th draft of this rebuild video, so let's go ahead and see who the Saints are taking with the number 1 pick. They take Devin Marshall, a wide receiver out of Washington. And with our first round pick here, I'm going to take left guard John Carpenter out of Mississippi State. We know he has B run block, A lead block, B pass block power. Couldn't read there for a second, but we're going to take him, and he has a hidden dev trait. I've drafted tight ends before, and I have yet to really hit on one in Madden 22. Like, I think I've gotten a couple off recording, but they are seemingly pretty hard to draft in this game. But this guy has A catch in traffic, C run block, D run block power, and we know he's one of the fastest tight ends in the class. We're going to take tight end Aaron Oliver, and he has a normal dev trait. And then as a depth move here, I'm going to take defensive tackle Brandon Dickerson out of Alabama. He has A finesse move, B block shedding. Where was he in strength? He was 6th and 4th at the combine in the pro day. So we'll take Brandon Dickerson as a depth player. I know our defensive tackles are very good, but you can always use more depth there. I think that was a challenge to see how many times I could say the word depth in like 10 seconds. And let's take a look at this draft class. We have left guard John Carpenter, who is a 72 overall with a hidden dev trait. We will most likely get a star dev trait out of that. A 70 overall tight end. So not the worst pick at tight end I've ever made. Brandon Dickerson's a 71, and then the CPU managed to draft a 67 outside linebacker, a 67 halfback, a 68 receiver, and a 61 DB. And the best player on the draft for the 3rd year in a row was a defensive back that went in the top 3. This one's an 80 overall that went to Atlanta. And now headed into year 5 here, Sam Howell's an 86 overall with a superstar dev trait, and let's take a look at the starting offense. Still got Kenneth Walker, who's coming off an 18 touchdown performance. I'm surprised they did not move him to a star dev trait, but Terry McLaurin's still a 99 overall, Jahan Dotson's an 87, Sky Moore is now a 79 overall, and it looks like we still don't really have a great left tackle, but I'm hoping the rest of the line can kind of make up for that. On defense, Callaway is now a superstar dev trait. I don't know why he downgraded, but he should still progress pretty well. Our defensive line's still looking pretty strong. Our corners are a bit questionable. I'm hoping that doesn't bite us too much. Pettis is a star dev trait. We learned that last season, but I don't think I've shown that yet. But let's jump into season 5 here and see if we can make the playoffs for a 3rd straight year. And here at the midway point, we are 5-2 and 1st place in our division. Howell with almost 2,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. On the ground, Kenneth Walker has 5 touchdowns, as does Brian Robinson. And through the air, Jonnu Smith has 44 catches for 3 touchdowns, McLaurin 33 for 4, and Jahan Dotson 29 for 4. And I think I've said this every time I've looked at our team stats. Jamin Davis is leading the team in tackles. What about sacks? That goes to Jadeveon Clowney with 8.5. And interceptions, Cole Holcomb has 2 and Kendall Fuller has 2. And where do we rank on offense? We are the 8th ranked offense in the league and the 9th ranked defense. So we finally have a balanced team here. We are 7th in points per game on offense and 9th in points per game on defense. But now let's jump to the end of the year, see if we can avoid having a collapse and actually win the division this time. And we finished the season 11-6, so we don't finish too strong, but we still win the division finally. And what seed in the playoffs are we? We are going to be the 3 seed, and we get to take on the 6 seed Lions. And in final season stats, Sam Howell goes for almost 4,700 yards, 32 touchdowns to 17 interceptions on the ground. Kenneth Walker with 17 rushing touchdowns this time. And through the air, Jonnu Smith caught 88 passes for 10 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson caught 7. McLaurin caught 5, Sky Moore caught 6, and Kenneth Walker caught 2. And with 111 tackles, leading the team, you guessed it, is Jamin Davis. In sacks, that goes to Chase Young with 16.5, but Clowney finished with 13.5. Interceptions, though, Fuller got 3, Holcomb got 2, Cameron Curl got 2, and Benjamin Saint just got 2. Mahomes leads the league in yards with 5,400, and in touchdowns, it is also Patrick Mahomes with 45, but in interceptions, it goes to Sam Darnold, who is now the starter in Atlanta. He threw 22 picks. And Nick Chubb is back to leading the league in rushing yards with 1,700. What about touchdowns? That goes to Ezekiel Elliott, who got 23. Leading the league in receptions is Braxton Berrios with 104. In yards, it goes to Michael Thomas, who is apparently a Giant now. And in touchdowns, that is Braxton Berrios tied with Rondell Moore, who both caught 14. Quay Walker leads the league in tackles with 152, and sacks, it is George Karlaftis with 21, and in interceptions, John Johnson III got 6. It looks like we finished with the 18th ranked offense in the league and the 5th ranked defense. What about in points per game? We are 7th on offense and 8th on defense. Now let's see if we can get out of the wildcard round and try to go on a Super Bowl run. And we take down the Lions 38-31. How did the stats look? Russell Wilson, who was apparently the quarterback in Detroit, threw 4 touchdowns. Howell threw 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. And here is how the rest of the first round looks. So we will be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And we take down the Cardinals 20-13. How did everyone play? Sam Howell, another 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Kyler Murray, only 183 yards and 1 touchdown. But now we will take on the Packers in the NFC Championship game, and over on the AFC side, it is the Bengals taking on the Chargers. And our season ends in the NFC Championship round 49-21. What happened here? Jordan Love throws 4 touchdowns, Sam Howell throws 3 interceptions, so we had a complete and total meltdown in the NFC Championship game. But now the Super Bowl will be between the Chargers and the Packers. And the Green Bay Packers win the Super Bowl 34-21. Usually I only do 5 seasons in a rebuild, but for this one we're going to do a 6th season because we've got Sam Howell now up to a 90 overall with his boost. He's an 88 overall base, so we're going to give him one more season before we wrap up this video to try to win a Super Bowl. So in the re-signing stage, we have one problem. Jonathan Allen has not signed a contract. He refused the one offer I gave him, so he will hit free agency. We're going to try to bring him back, but I was able to bring back Daron Payne. Kendall Fuller wants to walk, so we're not really going to have any good corners. That's going to be a problem. We did re-sign Jamin Davis. Jadeveon Clowney refused our offer. We're bringing back Bernie Springs, who was one of our draft picks. We brought back Sky Moore. Cole Holcomb is a little older and now is 74 overall, so we're going to let him leave. Taylor Lewan's going to leave. We're going to let Percy Butler come back. We signed him. We're going to let these guys all walk. Gordon Harris is coming back to be a backup outside linebacker. Dylan Hobbs is coming back to be our backup free safety, and everyone else is leaving. So I've now offered a few contracts here in free agency. We had a ton of cap space, and I used most of it. Jonathan Allen, we have offered a ton of money to come back. Kendall Fuller, Shaq Mason, Shaquille Griffin, Channing Tiller, who is a auto-generated player, I believe, but he is a star depth trait, 27 years old, and a scheme fit. Also trying to bring Garrett Bowles back. We tried to get him last season, but couldn't. And Corey Linsley to be our starting center. And it looks like we got everyone. Jonathan Allen, Kendall Fuller, Shaq Mason, Shaquille Griffin, Channing Tiller, Garrett Bowles, and Corey Linsley are all joining Washington. And since we're going all in on this season, I've traded our first round pick and Hardison to the Niners for Armstead. I would make some more trades, but we have no cap space really to work with, so we will just go ahead and start the draft. And let's see who the Bills take with the first pick in this final draft of this video. They take quarterback Eddie Swain out of Oregon State. And at the end of the second round here, I'm going to take defensive end Josh Highsmith out of Florida. He has B finesse and C power move. We will see how good he is. He actually has a hidden dev trait. I was not expecting that. And now at the end of the third round, I'm looking at strong safety Dylan Tolbert out of Wyoming. He has B hip power. What else do we know about him? A finesse, B pursuit, B play rec. We're going to take Dylan Tolbert, who also has a hidden dev trait. And going into our sixth and final season of this rebuild, Sam Howell is an 88 overall. He is like 100 XP away from being an 89 overall. Superstar dev trait. Usually, like I said, I only do 5 seasons of these, but I wanted to give him one more chance. And let's take a look at our final roster here. Kenneth Walker, an 85 overall. He has combined for 35 rushing touchdowns the last 2 years. Terry McLaurin still a 99. Sky Moore's an 81. Jahan Dotson's an 89. Our entire O-line is star depth traits, which is what I love to see. Jonnu Smith is our tight end at 79 overall. And here is our starting defense. It may be the best defense I have built overall-wise for this entire series so far. The lowest overall is the 80 overall free safety Pettis, but our entire D-line is now the lowest one is an 89 Eric Armstead. And before we jump to the midseason point, we are an 87 overall offense, an 88 overall defense, and an 87 overall team. This is one of the best teams I think I've built in a rebuild so far, so hopefully we can pull off a Super Bowl this year. And at the midway point, we are 5-1. So not our best start because we did have one season where we were 7-0, but we are still off to a very good start. Hopefully this time we can finish the season strong and get like a 1 seed. That would be amazing. Sam Howell with almost 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. On the ground, Kenneth Walker has 3 touchdowns, as does Brian Robinson. And through the air, Sky Moore, 34 catches for 2 touchdowns. Jahan Dotson has 4 touchdowns, and Terry McLaurin has 6. We're the 13th ranked offense and the 9th ranked defense in total, but what are we in points per game? 8th on offense and 21st on defense. Please don't have that come back to bite us. But now let's jump to the end of the season and see if we can go on a Super Bowl run. And we finished the season as 14-3 and the 1 seed. We are the 6th ranked offense in points per game, the number 1 passing offense, and on defense we are the 9th ranked in points per game. Sam Howell throws for over 5,200 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. On the ground, Kenneth Walker only runs for 11 touchdowns this year as opposed to his 18 and 17 that he's been doing. And receiving, Sky Moore caught 6 touchdowns, Terry McLaurin caught 13, and Jahan Dotson caught 8, and Jonnu Smith also caught 8. We had 4 receivers go over 1,000 yards. And I'm just now realizing I didn't even look at defensive stats at the midway point in the season, but Jamin Davis has 115 tackles, leading the team in sacks. Chase Young with 23.5, and interceptions. Shaquille Griffin got 2. Okay, we did not get a lot of picks this year. Our secondary was probably the weakest point, but we still managed to finish 14-3. And Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards with 5,200, and touchdowns that goes to Patrick Mahomes with 45, and interception goes to Jordan Love with 20. Najee Harris leads the league in yards with 1,900, but oh my god, I see the number already. Ezekiel Elliott with 30 rushing touchdowns. What the hell happened in Dallas? Receiving, Allen Lazard looks like he leads the league in yards and receptions, tied with Marquise Brown, and in touchdowns that goes to Ray Bigby, another Chiefs receiver. Brett Daniels leads the league in tackles with 153, and sacks. George Karlaftis got 34 of them. I thought Chase Young was like set to be the league leader, but no. Karlaftis comes in with 34 sacks. Interceptions, several people got 5. Not going to try to pronounce his name. Kazir White, Trayvon Mullen Jr., and Adoree Jackson. Here is the entire playoff bracket in case you were curious. As you see, we are the 1 seed, and Jacksonville is the 1 seed in the AFC side. And in the first round of the playoffs, the 7-seed Saints knock out the 2-seed Packers 35-28, so they will come to Washington to play us. Dallas wins, Carolina wins, and it looks like the 7-seed one on both sides as Indianapolis has advanced, and the Chiefs will take on the Patriots. But now in the divisional round, let's see if we can take out the 8-9 New Orleans Saints. And we take out the Saints 27-10, so we advance to the NFC Championship game. And in that game, we will take on the 5th seed Dallas Cowboys, who went 13-4. So in usual seasons, they would have probably been the 1 or the 2 seed, but now they're the 5th seed because we got one more win than them, and the AFC is between the Chiefs and the Colts. Well, there's a chance the rebuild could wrap up here. The NFC Championship game taking on the 13-4 Dallas Cowboys, led by Ezekiel Elliott, who apparently ran for 30 touchdowns this year. And we take out the Dallas Cowboys 51-30 in a shootout of an NFC Championship game. What do these stats look like? Sam Howell threw for 5 touchdowns. That is absolutely insane. Kenneth Walker ran for 2. Zeke ran for 2. And receiving, McLaurin caught 2 touchdowns, Chauncey Staley caught a touchdown, and Sky Moore caught a touchdown. Before we jump into this, I wanted to show you guys that Sam Howell is now an X-Factor quarterback, so win or lose this Super Bowl, we have successfully built a team around Sam Howell and gotten him to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So now all we need to do is win a Super Bowl. I am going to super sim this entire game here, but I wanted to at least watch this just in case we do win the game, to see the trophy presentation, stuff like that, to show that this 6 seasons of hard work has actually paid off. And at halftime of Super Bowl 61, it is 10-7, so a very low-scoring game, which is not what I expected. And now at the end of the third, it is 13-10, so we go into the fourth quarter, it is a 3-point ball game. Well, it looks like the Chiefs may take the lead here. They have the ball at the 10-yard line after a 25-yard pass to Juju, and on 1st and goal, an 8-yard run from Allaire, and on 2nd and goal, Allaire for a touchdown. Alright, Howell, can you respond? Down by 4 in the Super Bowl. 1st and 10, no gain from Walker. 2nd and 10, 15 to Sky Moore. 1st and 10, 3 from Walker. 2nd and 7, 7 from Brian Robinson. Sets up 3rd and 1, and he throws it away. So on 4th and 1, do we go for it? We do, and we lose 3, so Kansas City will take over here. But on 3rd and 18, we force a thrown away pass, so we will get the ball back. Still a 4-point game. And now let's see if Sam Howell can do anything. 1st and 10, throws it away. 2nd and 10, 7-yard run from Sam Howell. 3rd and 3, throws it away, so we will punt it again. We will jump into this game. It is 17-13 with 3:54 to go. Howell takes the snap out of pistol, a throw over the middle that is caught for the first down. I am not going to know any of these guys' numbers though. 1st and 10 from the 47. Howell in shotgun here. He will take the snap, and that's a handoff to the running back who breaks a tackle. He has the first down and still going down to the 41. That is Brian Robinson. Now 2nd and 10 from the 41 after an incomplete pass. Howell takes the snap and looks to pass. He throws it over the middle, and that is caught for the first down all the way down to the 22. That is apparently Jonnu Smith getting his 7th catch today. Now 1st and 10 from the 22. Howell will take the snap, stand back in the pocket, and throw it over the middle again to a wide open receiver, and he's down inside the 5. 1st and goal from the 3 after the 2-minute warning. Howell going under center. We need a touchdown here, guys. Howell takes the snap, hands off up the middle, and that will get nowhere. Now 2nd and goal, and Howell all alone in the backfield will take the snap and look to pass into the end zone. That is caught. Touchdown, Washington. That is Terry McLaurin in the back of the end zone. It is now up to the defense. Down by 3. Kansas City comes back out at the 24-yard line. 1:35 to go. Mahomes pumps fake. Looking to pass. He's rolling out, and Mahomes is going to take off but not get much. Sorry if there was a voice crack on that last call. Now 2nd and 6. Mahomes takes the snap, throws over the middle, and that is caught and brought down to the 37. They have not burned a timeout yet. 50 seconds to go in the game from the 37-yard line. Mahomes looks to pass again, throws it to the outside, that is caught, and he will not get out of bounds. Are they going to burn a timeout now? They would burn a timeout at 31 seconds. Is that saying that's their field goal range right now? That is insane. 2nd and 3, over the middle, that is caught, and he is brought down to the 39. Now they're in field goal range, so we're going to need to force a turnover. Mahomes in shotgun, takes the snap, looking to pass, under pressure, and that is knocked out of the air by Chase Young. 2nd and 10, Mahomes in shotgun from the 39-yard line. 22 seconds to go in the game. And he throws to the outside, that's caught. He's got the first down down the sideline, and they get out of bounds. Are you kidding me? They may get a shot at a touchdown here. He sends a man in motion. Are they going to go for the win or just go for the tie and go to overtime? They're handing the ball off, and he will get hit in the backfield. So they bring out their kicker for about a 39-yard field goal try to tie the game up. They have no more timeouts. If we could block this, that would be amazing, but the kick is away, and it is good. 8 seconds to go, or else we are headed to overtime. Howell in shotgun. Let's see if they just throw one deep and hope for the best. Nope, they will give it to the running back up the middle, who actually has some room to move and get brought down to the 38, and they will burn a timeout. Do you take the Hail Mary here? 3 seconds, about 60 yards from the end zone from the line of scrimmage. Howell will take the snap. He's looking to throw deep downfield, trying to avoid overtime. And he throws it deep down the left side, and that will be almost intercepted. Washington got the ball first. It's already 3rd and 10. Howell down the sideline, tipped around and incomplete. They will have to punt. So Kansas City will take over at the 26. Let's see if they can get into scoring range. A 4-yard run from Allaire. 2nd and 6, 2 from Allaire. 3rd and 3 to get off the field, and Juju gets the first down. 1st and 10, 3 from Bigby. 2nd and 7, 20 from Bigby, and they're now in field goal range. Is this going to be how we lose the Super Bowl? 1st and 10, Mahomes from under center in the 37-yard line. He sends a man in motion, And it's a handoff up the middle. He's got some room to run. That's Clyde Edwards-Helaire breaking tackles and brought down at the 27, a 10-yard gain. Second and inches. Mahomes under center from the 27-yard line. He sends a man in motion. Takes a snap. It's a toss play to the outside, and he will get hit in the backfield. 3rd and 5. Mahomes in shotgun from the 32-yard line. He takes the snap, looks to pass. It's a quick throw, and they will get the first down. We're going to have to force a turnover here because I don't think they will miss a field goal. 1st and 10 from the 27. Someone on defense, please make a big play. Throw to the outside. That's caught and brought down to the 20. 2nd and 3. Mahomes in shotgun from the 20-yard line. He is looking to pass. Someone please pick the ball off. Goes to the outside, and that's almost intercepted. No, don't celebrate. You've got to catch that. 3rd and 3. We were that close to a Super Bowl win. Mahomes from under center, and they're just going to run the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and most likely send out the field goal unit to try to win it. And on 4th and 1, the Chiefs are going to go for it. I have no idea what the hell they're thinking here. Mahomes takes the snap and throws to the outside. That's caught, and they get the first down anyway. I don't know why they would go for that, but they got the first down. So now Mahomes in shotgun. We have another chance to try to force a turnover. Out of shotgun, he's under pressure, throws to the end zone, and that is intercepted in the corner. I cannot believe they did not kick the field goal, and then I cannot believe we actually got a pick at the most needed time. All right, Sam, this is your chance. From the 20-yard line, you need to at least get a field goal, and we are Super Bowl champions. Hands off to the running back, and he will get about 5. Howell in shotgun, 2nd and 4 from the 26-yard line. Howell takes the snap. It's a throw to the outside. That's caught by McLaurin, and McLaurin has some room to move and is brought down all the way at the 42. It has just dawned on me, I don't even know who our kicker is, so that could be interesting. 1st and 10 from the 42 now. Howell takes the snap. It's a quick throw, and that's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Howell in shotgun from the 42. Takes the snap and looks to pass. It's a quick throw that is caught and brought down immediately at the 48-yard line. 3rd and 3. We need to convert here. I do not want to give the ball back to Mahomes. Out of shotgun. Howell takes the snap. There's a quick throw open underneath, and that is caught by Dotson to the 45. 1st and 10 from shotgun at the 45-yard line. Howell takes the snap, and it's a screen pass that's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Howell in shotgun from the 45. And it'll be play action, and he throws over the middle of the field. That's caught by McLaurin, who's off to the races, and Terry McLaurin wins the Super Bowl for Washington. Just a quick play action and a throw over the middle to Terry McLaurin ends this game in overtime, 26-20. And after 6 seasons, the Washington Commanders are Super Bowl champions. Sam Howell turns into an elite quarterback. I honestly did not think I'd be able to do it. Maybe changing him to a star depth trait at the beginning helped a lot. But still, he got to an X Factor depth trait, not overall. But we managed to get the Super Bowl win, which is huge. This is the first rebuild I think I've completed since the Jets one that I did several rebuilds ago. And I'm kind of glad I decided to watch this game because obviously this was very entertaining. I still can't believe they did not kick that field goal and came out for another pass attempt. And then Griffin got the pick in the back corner of the end zone or the front corner of the end zone, whichever it was. But we get the win. There's the Super Bowl trophy. And this is the reason I wanted to watch the game, just in case we managed to win the game. We got to see the trophy celebration, and the 6 seasons of hard work actually finally paid off. But that will wrap up this Sam Howell Washington Commanders rebuild. It took us 6 seasons, but we get a Super Bowl. I'm really glad, obviously, I decided to watch this game, like I said, and I'm really glad I decided to give Sam Howell one more season to try to win a Super Bowl. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time.